daughter? Tell him that she's doing very well. Tell him her face is healing very well. You know, she lost her left hand. Maybe you can get close to him. I don't know if I can print that picture for him.
Yeah, if you would print it, he would take it to home and show it to her mom and other family members.
Oh, that's awesome. And thoughts? And for his wife.
We asked the father if he was happy that the Marines had taken care of his daughter, Rosia. "18 days after Marines shelled Kenjac-Olia, they paid another visit. One of the reasons was to check on 6-year-old Rosia, the girl who lost her arm.
She's all good, but she lost her voice. She lost her voice? Yeah. Can we see her? Can we check on her? I got a doctor here. Yeah. I got my doctor here. You can check on her. Assalamu alaikum.
Her voice loss would prove to be temporary, the result of a tube down her throat in the hospital.
Yeah, I got the one. Yeah, got it. We lost a truck to an IED strike today and a mine roller to an IED strike today. Fortunately, no one was injured in both those strikes, but what it's going to do is going to set our ability back a couple of days in order to push the enemy back, because we've got some long-distance patrols scheduled in the near future. Due to the fact of losing that truck and that mine roller, it's going to cause us to push those patrols to the right.
The Marines seldom patrolled at night. IEDs were hard enough to spot at daylight. This patrol on the first night of Ramadan was in one of the safest villages in the Marine area of operations.
We are in the Wadi, just outside of the village of Tangulak. Where? Hey! Salaam alaikum! Sucks to have an interpreter. Abdul Hayek? Oh. Ha. Sanu? Abdul Mayek? Abdul Mayek? Oh. Hey, he's got a light, which is kind of legit. They're gonna turn it off when he gets to the IED. I'm gonna go run their names. Push in. I'm just gonna push west. We'll just kind of cruise around through the alleyways for about 45 minutes. See if we can't bump into a few people. Hey, that's on the shop. Assalamu alaikum. Sanu? Ahmad. Ahmad? Ahmad. Hey. Mahmoud? Ahmad? Muhammad? Shayullah? Oh? What? Swing it right. I'm sorry, double back. Hang a left. Not a bad. Let's search him real quick. I'll put his hands up. He's probably just taking a dump. Have a good night. Sorry to bother you. Huh? Hey, go ahead and let him push. Make sure he goes into this compound. Right? If you ask me, I feel kind of like a failure because farming season is long gone. There's no reason guys to be walking around with a shovel, but there ain't anything I can do about it. So, as far as I can tell, at least 3 IEDs were probably placed tonight. I don't know. Kind of upset about it, but what are you going to do?
The doctors here decided not to use the women's clinic. Midwife refuses to use the women's clinic. We spent close to 3 weeks building it. We took this old dome. It used to be used for storage, nothing but old storage. Because the midwife refuses to use it, the doctors in there refuse to use it because it's set up for a women's clinic. It's just sitting here collecting dust. There's so much corruption in this area. The midwife is married to one local nurse who's here. He's double dipping with the D-minors. So you have the midwife that makes more money than the doctor does here, the legitimate doctor. The nurse that's married to the midwife that's double dipping, and then coming to me asking me for meds on the side so you can sell them on the fly. So there's corruption everywhere in this area. That's the core of the problem. You get rid of the corruption and you can move forward.
While the armored vehicles protected Marines and increased their mobility, their vulnerability to IEDs ultimately reduced the range Marines could cover. As the end of their 7-month tour approached, the Marines weren't patrolling as often or as long. They hadn't truly secured Kenjac-Olia to the north, and Kurgay to the south was only slightly better. Most frustrating to the Marines, they never had enough vehicles or manpower to clear out a known Taliban stronghold, Bar Nowzad, a mere 8 miles from their headquarters at Nowzad.
When I started, I had about 50 vehicles. I think total vehicles lost due to IED strikes during this deployment, right up just shy of 30 vehicles. Well, the vehicles always allow you to reach out a little bit further. They bring a heavier load to the fight with heavy weapons, ammo resupply. So it has set us back, but it hasn't limited our ability to affect the enemy. If there was one place I could have gone that I didn't make it to during this deployment, it'd probably be north of Bar Nowzad. The enemy is there. We know they're there. It's a hub. It's a sanctuary for the enemy. It's a shadow government power seat for them. And by occupying, owning that piece of ground, you would ultimately be able to essentially almost cut the head off the snake, if you will.
Taliban succeeded in reducing the number of our vehicles. They're smart. That's the biggest mistake coming in here, is thinking that Taliban are a bunch of monkeys. They're a third world country. We have one mine roller. One. We came out here with a lot of mine rollers.
And without mine rollers, the Marines didn't go anywhere.
Now, 7 months ago, January, like you said, the first family to move back was January. You couldn't walk through here without engagement to the bazaar. There was about a 300-meter ring outside the cop. That's all you had. Wow, look at that, some good-looking eggplant over there, actually.
Captain Wilkinson was right. One area of real progress was Nowzad's Bazaar. In June, it had been a forlorn place. Maybe a dozen shops. No traffic. But as the Marines prepared to head home, the bazaar had been reborn. Shops that had been abandoned were open. More than 100 of them. In June, the arrival of the first commercial truck in years had been big news. Jingle trucks, they're called. They bring the goods and supply the shops. By summer's end, the shops were well stocked. The bazaar was reborn because of improved security and cash incentives Americans paid to shop owners to return. Reopening the shops in the bazaar was important because taxes on those shops is a major source of revenue for the district government. The division headquarters brass was impressed.
Yeah, what's happening here is definitely a success. I think it's definitely one of the models. You can't always replicate what happens here in Nowzad everywhere else because every valley is different, every community is different. But the fact that you have people that are out here together, the local economy is thriving. People are not afraid to come out and being seen in the open with coalition forces, being seen cooperating with coalition forces. Even the fact that they have people that are working a USAID project that aren't intimidated by the Taliban to go away, that's a sign of success.
If life in Nowzad had improved for Afghans, so too had life for Marines. As their 7-month tour neared its end, living conditions for Marines had become, by Marine standards, luxurious. No more hand laundry in an empty ammo can. Now there was a laundry service. No more water bottle showers. Many days they could take a real shower with hot water.
I feel like $1 million right now. To be honest with you.
That feels good.
Best feeling of the day after you get out of the shower.
You only get one. Take one every, few days. That's pretty good.
Well, his Marines were rounding up the Afghan men.
Well, my last one was actually about a week ago. But I've been busy.
For fun, Marines did what Marines have always done. And now there were air-conditioned tents. If you weren't on duty, that's where you hung out, because there was no place else to hang out that wasn't 110 degrees. Tent conversations frequently involved frivolous stuff.
The thing is it's more alcoholic than any other beer. Natty gets stuff way quicker.
But there was a fair amount of talk about the war, and those talks showed a broader view of the war than grunts are usually suspected of harboring. It was in those bull sessions, in the air-conditioned tents, that the frustrations of the tour spilled out.
We have a box we have to stay in. It's only this big. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I still have my free opinion. All right, I'm proud to express my own opinion on the situation. And we all, you can't even say you know, right? Yeah. The corruption.
Go right back to the old way it was.
We're supporting corrupt, inefficient, ineffective government.
You know what I mean? But change people all you want, but once you believe it, they're going to revert back to exactly how they were.
Unless we're going to keep
enforced right here,
But
on top of that, will go back.
on top of that, of course, it has to be everywhere. Because obviously, we're not far now that we're not going to just go in and not only where we're at. It gets any better.
And then you leave,
And we don't have that many people to, can't just make it, again.
Over time, it can change.
do you think we can change? Do you think we can rid the Taliban out of
Look at the way that Iraq is. There's less than 1,000 Marines in Iraq. It's stable now. It may not stay that way.
You gotta think, we did lose a lot of guys, but what have we accomplished? We lost, what is, our company...
You're not gonna see results off of just one deployment.
Yeah, I know.
We'll all build, we'll hand it over at 180, and we'll continue to build
Even after we
public relations.
dropped the blow on Olia, we still took IDF from that city. It's pro-Taliban, and I don't think it'll change. It don't matter, you do that push through Marja, we do the push through Barnalzad, you do all that, you leave, it's going to go right back to the way it was. It's not like we've lost all these guys, and we have not changed a damn thing.
For the friends that we've had injured here, right? Guys like Rivers got killed, right? For what? Really, I want to look back 20 years from now, and not see my children are going to be crazy enough to join the Marine Corps, probably. Back over here.
Did we fight a successful counterinsurgency? I think we did. We took an extremely kinetic place and made it pretty docile. We have more people coming to us. Within the last 2 months now, instead of us finding the IEDs, we have local nationals pointing out IEDs to us. We have local nationals starting to secure their own villages that's starting to turn away from the Taliban. And it's not that this wasn't a Taliban focus, because the entire district the shadow government is just pretty close to us. It's that we're now receiving, some pretty significant, reliable source reporting that the Taliban is moving out of this area because they no longer have anything to offer the local populace. Could I have used a whole other company here? Of course I could. And counterinsurgency, comes down to almost pure numbers. The more people that you have, the more ground that you can secure, the more security you can have to the people. It's a sheer numbers game.
We've moved a lot throughout the battlefield. We've gained some ground north, we've gained some ground south. We've set the stage for another unit to come in to rip with us, and hopefully they'll be able to continue that progress that we've established. I'm fortunate enough as a staff NCO in the Marine Corps to be a commander in a combat environment. The big picture, I can't really focus on that. It's really not, it's not up to me, but, if you're wanting my opinion, I believe sooner or later it'll catch on. You just got to conduct it in the right manner. Do what's right, establish that presence, show the locals, teach the locals, influence the government, show that government how to establish their presence, and hopefully the people will catch on. It takes a long time, no doubt. It's going to take some time.
I want to say we got a lot accomplished. I want to say that. In my heart, I want to say that we got a lot accomplished. But in truth, I don't think we accomplished much. It's got to start with the people. The people have got to want to change. If they don't want to change and they're happy and content with where they are, then they'll put on a face that they're changing, and the minute we leave, they're going to go back to where it was. And that's what's going to happen here. On the medical aspect, we succeeded in saving lives. Will that make a bit of difference? That's the only thing that keeps me going, is maybe that kid will turn around and remember that American that did something to help him or her later down the line. Do I think they will? I don't think so. But we're not going to change this country. This country's done this too many times in the past. It's in the history books. We lost.
Thanks to our extraordinary men and women in uniform, our civilian personnel, and our many coalition partners, we are meeting our goals. As a result, starting next month, we will be able to remove 10,000 of our troops from Afghanistan by the end of this year, and we will bring home a total of 33,000 troops by next summer, fully recovering the surge I announced at West Point. May God bless our troops, and may God bless the United States of America.
After Keith Kesterson came home, he and his wife Marcia had a baby girl. His next assignment, to be a Marine recruiter. T.J. Glover, who broke up with his girl just before his deployment, married her 9 months after he returned, a week after he got out of the Marines. They're expecting a baby. Alex Morgan is still in the Air Force. He did another tour in Afghanistan. But he's been blown up enough he complains of headaches and says his short-term memory has gone to hell.
I like the hydraulics.
Russell Scales and Tyler Dido, the two guys who were blown up in their 7-ton truck, neither returned to duty. Both suffered severe traumatic brain injuries, and both have been rated nearly totally disabled. While Scales and Dido never returned to duty, Justin Shaw finished his tour. But he came home suffering severe